explain the $1 million developer loophole that he explained? I just want to understand what that means better.
Under removal of parking spaces, there's a section of the code that deals with the removal of required off-street parking spaces.
This ordinance took me like 5 times to read, and I didn't understand it at all. And then I had to have somebody explain it to me. And when I started to understand what it meant, I realized it kind of frightened me a little bit. And I still don't understand what this $1 million developer loophole is. But if we can save $1 million for the city by not passing this right now, I think we should at least defer it to October so we can figure it out what that is. Why are we doing this anyway? Like, why this legislation? Like, where did it come from?
This was done at the request of the Shore Club, and this would allow a building that is, because the Shore Club, for example, they're going
So the Shore Club doesn't want to pay the $1 million for the parking so that they can build their project when they're going to make, I don't know how many million from developing the Shore Club, and we're going to accommodate them? When we can't, we don't even have the money for the Bass Museum. We have seniors going hungry. I feel very uncomfortable with this.
Order, Commissioner Allen.
Thank you. I just want to make sure I understand it. All right, so we have the Shore Club. They're going from hotel to larger units. They're reducing their density. Therefore, they need less parking. Without this change, the way our law reads now, they would still have to pay to remove the parking that they no longer need or are going to use. And so what we're saying is either we are or are not going to grant them that accommodation.
Okay. Commissioner Grieco, anything?
$1 million for the Shore Club?
So, Commissioner Aliman.
Well, we want density to be reduced, right? That's one of our goals. I don't know why this is so loud. We want density to be reduced. This is going to have a mitigating effect on traffic. We also want to create a fair, business environment, where we treat our businesses fairly. I don't understand why we would be penalizing them for doing something that we want them to do. I don't get it.
Does the Shore Club have zoning to have a potential restaurant or nightclub in this project? Could they?
Yes.
All right, right there. They need parking. Come on, they need to pay their impact fees. They're gonna have how many times have you gone to the Delano and you had to wait for your car like an hour and a half? You know why? Because it's parked a mile away. Right. I don't think this is right because the Shore Club is going to have nightclubs. It's going to have restaurants. There's going to be people coming there all the time. They need to have those parking spaces, and I think they should pay the impact fee. I'm sure that they're going to charge when they start rent. I'm sure they're going to make the money back in whatever they lease the restaurant or nightclub out to, whatever they're planning within that project. I guarantee you.
Okay.
And then
we could get $1 million for education, $1 million for parks, $1 million to fight Zika. We could have $1 million that we don't have right now, and we don't know what the future of our economy holds right now. We're on the CDC advisory list, and I don't think that we should just be randomly handing out $1 million favors to developers on Miami Beach.
Hold on,
I don't think it's in the residents' best interest.
Okay, so all due respect to my colleague, that money can only be spent in the parking and transportation area. So it can't
How
be.
do we know?
Please don't interrupt me.
Guys, everyone's made their opinion. Commissioner
What do you mean, how do we
ahead.
know? Because the code dictates that parking and lieu fees can only be spent for specific, it's dictated by code. So you can't spend it on actually you can't spend on any of the things that were just laid out. So unfortunately, that's not the case. And kind of going to Commissioner Alamon's point that this incentivizes decreasing intensity of these types of projects, which I think is a good thing. I think it's something that we should incentivize, and people shouldn't be turned away from it because they've got to pay some penalty. I think it's good city building.
Okay, thank you. Ken, you want to quickly, and then we're going to probably put it out to a vote.
Right now, there are 25 required spaces on site. When those spaces are gone, there will be no parking on site for over 100 hotel rooms and approximately 75 or 80 residential units. That parking will have to be made up somewhere. These people will end up going to meters, they'll be going to parking lots, they'll be going to other areas. There's a deficiency of parking in this area of the neighborhood, and we are concerned, the Satai is concerned about taking that away and then at least not having them pay and have the penalty of paying the penalty of $1 million if they eliminate the required parking. That's their choice. They can keep the parking, they don't have to pay it, or they can get rid of the parking, they should be required to pay it. And the other idea of saying that, oh, this is limited to impact fee money. But the reality is whatever stays in impact fee money, you don't have to then use that other monies for creating parking garages. So if that money goes to building parking garages, then you don't have to use general fund monies to supplement parking throughout the city. So even though you can't use those funds, it frees up $1 million in other funds in the city. So it's in the best interest of the city to do that.
Thank you. Okay.